Hey, listen, I think the headline, obviously, like, listen, I think one of the signs of greatness is when you win and it's kind of becoming predictable and boring. So then we don't value each win as much, right? We look at Casper Ruud and we're like, first Masters 1000 win, way to go. Everyone loves Casper, great citizen of the world, 3 Grand Slam finals. We want to give him his flowers, right? We want to say how great he is and what he did well and all this stuff. And then Sabalenka, we're like, Sabalenka won again because she's just done. And it's like not the same thing. Have we reached the point, JW, where Sabalenka is so good that we're not going to give every single win of hers enough time or credit?
Yeah, I mean, this is the curse of being a player of that level, right? I mean, you win multiple majors, you're ranked number 1, you've already won 2 titles this year. What do we talk about? Sometimes we talk about how she's had trouble closing. She should have more than 3 titles this year. And then when she comes good and plays up to her seeding, you're the number 1 seed, you're the top line of the draw sheet. The best you can do is hold serve, right? I mean, anything short of winning and you're not fulfilling your seeding. So when she does, we say, yeah, that's about right. That's what we expected. And Iga's game seems to be in a bit of a state of disarray. So we could perhaps talk about that. I think Sabalenka, despite the fact that she is not the player that's won 4 of the last 5 Roland Garroses, we can sidebar talk Charles Barkley style about how we feel Roland Garros versus French Open. Table that for now. No, I mean, I think Sabalenka plays to her seeding, beats a very game Coco in an entertaining final, and I think she's probably the favorite going into Paris, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's weird. For the last however many years, half a decade, the conversation is Iga versus the field, and maybe that's the prediction. I remember us probably having that conversation on this show last year, and I think I took Iga against the field. If you put Iga against Sabalenka right now, to your point, I think I try not to be a victim of the moment, on the show, and I'm not the one who's going to get hyperbolic about Iga on clay too quickly. 1-1 loss against someone who you've dominated that rivalry up until the last, 3 or 4 matches is cause for concern. There's no chance she walks off that court and is like, oh yeah, I'm filled, my cup is full of confidence. So to your point, I think it makes the tournament a little more interesting, right? We're not starting from the answer, which is, Iga's dominance, but I want to celebrate Sabalenka because I don't want to get to the point where she's so good that we're bored by her excellence. I think that's an unfair thing. And I want to talk about one shot in particular that I think it was my favorite shot of the week. And when I describe it, we do the hot shots and we do the highlights, and it's always some form of luck, or someone should have put a ball away and someone gets there and they're not score relevant. Musetti hits a one-hander off his shoe tops and he's, 5-2 double break up. I'm obsessed with a score relevant. Sabalenka hit this backhand against Kostyuk, and it was, I think it was the quarters. Second set breaker, down set point. Kostyuk hit this floater. Sabalenka's fading away to the left corner, 4 or 5 feet back, and it's coming high and soft. So normally you create spin because you can't. She backs up, cold cocks a winner off the backhand side. It had to go 92 miles an hour. Created a mannequin. To pull the lever on that shot in a tight moment. She has reached the point where she thinks she's going to make every single shot she hits. Now she doesn't, but she kind of has that shooter's mentality, that Kobe Jordan mentality where the next one's going in. That shot stunned me. To just rear back and cold cock that winner from, creating every bit of pace all on your own, highest risk, lowest. She just steps up to the moment, plays her, goes out and competes every day. And it's like she's just going to work. It's just normal for her to do this now.
I like that point because I actually saw that shot on social media. I did not see the match, and I did not realize when that shot came in the context of the match. And I feel like we make that mistake all the time. Tennis Channel, we do hot shots, and it's exactly what you said. It's a crazy tweener. Some guy goes into the first row to retrieve an overhead, and then you look at the score line, or you look at the player who actually won the match, and you say that's a neat bit of shot making, but it really didn't seem to have much material impact. I know what shot you're talking about. For Sabalenka to have hit that shot, and to have just attempted it, and then to have executed it at that point in the match, that should get extra. It's like leverage in baseball, right? Where it's great when you steal a base when it's 9-0, but when you do it when it's 4-all in the 8th inning, it's a lot different. We should like weight shot making match context specific.
She has that like Steph Curry thing where he pulls up from like 34 feet and you're like, no, yes. You see her lining up for that one. You're like, that's not the one. That's not it. And then it works. She's phenomenal right now. Great week for Coco. The serve I think is still a little hit or miss. The forehand looked great this week. I know we talk about, kind of that fadeaway. What I saw as the major adjustment for Coco was her not trying to run around, hit flat inside outs. That's not her shot shape. Or trying to hit flat down the line, force that ball in there. It's not her shot shape. Similar to the adjustment that Murray made when he was first started working with Lendl, she was opening up the shoulders, and when she was getting aggressive, she was going with her natural shot shape, which is flattening out that ball cross court. She doesn't flatten it out that well inside out. She doesn't flatten that forehand out super well up the line. But if you know that she's going to open up the shoulders cross court, does two things. One, the threat is there, so therefore you can't just pin her in the forehand side. And two, what that does is you have to take 2 steps to the right, so then all of a sudden her natural shot shape, which is that looper up the line, becomes way more effective. So I think it was just a matter of being aggressive to the shots to the parts of the court that you're comfortable being aggressive to, and not trying to square peg round hole against your shot shape. Big improvement for Coco. I thought that was as well as she's hit her forehand this year so far. And she was emotional afterwards. You could tell she wants to like break through and kind of re-enter this conversation, as one of the best players in the world. I think Sabalenka is kind of separated right now, and obviously Iga's earned the right to be in that conversation all the time. But great week for Coco net. I mean, listen, you beat the person who's been your toughest matchup 1-1 on their surface. I don't care how Iga's playing. She's still one of the best players in the world on any surface. And Coco made a statement, I think, and I think statement win gets thrown around too often, but I was stunned by that scoreline.
1-1 on the choice surface of the player who's been number one in the world for the best part of the last half decade. I don't know what you make of this. I mean, remember Coco beat Iga in Saudi Arabia, and we all sort of said, keep an eye on this match. It's the end of the year and it's not a major, but this had really been one-way traffic, this head-to-head. I mean, if we all sort of said, well, Coco's she's an exceptionally good player and she's won a major, but how is she going to get to number one when she has such a block against Iga? And to have turned that rivalry, and now it's a rivalry, I mean, it wasn't even a rivalry, but to have turned that head-to-head around and then beat her 1-1 on clay. We can talk about Iga, and this has been a rough year for her so far, but I think how is that not a statement win? I mean, I think that's exactly the term I would use. And Coco's right there in the conversation. And remember, it's a French Open Junior. I mean, she can play on clay as well. So,
I think you kind of not perfect segue into my next point about Coco. Her best surface might be clay. I'm just like, I know that she won the U.S. Open, and I feel like I won a major on a surface that I think I was better on grass than I was on hard overall. I think her best surface could be clay. I think she's had the most extended runs of her career in Masters 1000s. Outside of that kind of hard court run, that magical summer, she's made the finals of Roland Garros, another semifinal at Roland Garros. She's had extended runs in Rome multiple times. I think just net, if she's kind of randomly playing someone 40 in the world, I think clay's the surface that gets the most wins in those matchups, 20, 30 in the world where someone can't just go pound the forehand and get some help from the court. I think clay might be her best surface, or at least it's not a crazy thing to think out loud. What do you think, JW?
I think that's right. I mean, I think that's eye test, but I also think that is data driven. I mean, look at her results in Paris and what's happened. She's played really well. She's looked good. She's defended. She's brought her athleticism to bear, and then she's run into Iga, who's won this event 4 of the last 5 times. Well, she just beat that player one. Again, that score line just jumps at you 1-1. Yeah, I think that, and I think honestly, I thought she played pretty well in the final overall. So yeah, she's got to feel really good about this.
Yeah, she played well in the final. She served for it in the second set and struggled to through that game, some doubles, some forehands, and then I think she was pretty pissed, which I don't mind. Like, you could tell she was like, okay, enough of this stuff. I'm sick of it. But credit to Sabalenka. She hangs in there. She ebbs and flows. Like, she understands how to play a match, how to navigate a match. And it's funny because you still see her emoting. And so you're like, oh, is she going to, she's rock solid. Like, I don't care what it looks like. In those moments, she is absolutely rock solid.